Okay, so this is for GCSE Geography for Year 10 and for Year 11, and we're going to think about urban land use. And these two photographs of Shanghai shows how urban land use can change over time. It also links quite nicely to the different processes of urbanisation and urban growth, both of which are important key terms that you need to know the meanings of. Okay, let's have a look at what we can see then. Firstly, if we look at this more recent image of Shanghai, if we're commenting on urban land use, this is clearly a photograph of the Central Business District, or CBD. But how do we know this? Well, let's look for some evidence. Okay, perhaps the most obvious point to make is that there are a large number of high-rise buildings, or skyscrapers. And why do you tend to find skyscrapers in CBDs? Well, it is more cost-effective or cheaper to build upwards rather than outwards in this part of a city, as land prices are most expensive in this prestigious part of a city. Now, this links to an economic theory called bid-rent theory, which basically states that people and businesses are more likely to pay higher amounts of money for land which is closer to the CBD. Therefore, we can say that there is a negative correlation between land prices and distance from the CBD. In other words, land gets cheaper with movement away from the central business district. So, how do these photos then show urban growth and urbanisation? Two important key terms, which sound similar but are different. Remember, urban growth is the increase in the amount of land that is covered by an urban area, which we can clearly see in this photograph. Over time, the city of Shanghai has changed. The built environment has increased in its coverage. Therefore, we can say that urban growth has occurred. Now, over time, this urban growth may lead to something called urban sprawl, which can lead to a blurring of the urban-rural divide, most typically on the rural-urban fringe, the point of a city where the urban area begins to meet the countryside. Urbanisation is a slightly different process, as it's strictly related to population and occurs when a country has an increasing proportion of its population living in urban areas. From these two photographs, it is difficult to accurately state that urbanisation is happening because we can only see the CBD. Remember, the CBD tends to be an area which is typically dominated by business and is rarely a residential area or a place where people live.